Hey guys, so today we're going to talk a little bit about a subscriber question that I had the other day. So let's get into it. The question in question was basically, Frederick, what do you think about online degrees? Just general thoughts about it. How do they stack up against regular degrees in the industry? So let's get into that. Well, online degrees and online learning, and there are quite a few of these universities these days where they will, well, let's first and foremost define the differences between a boot camp and an online degree. So a boot camp is a single standing course provided by most likely some type of company or organization, and they may or may not give you some type of certificate or so forth when you complete it. An example of this would be, say, a database certificate or something of that nature. You have completed this course, right? That this bootcamp is completed. But an online degree is provided to you by a formal institution of some sort, where they actually give you course material that is on par with what the education system would provide you with, or basically the same sort of thing that you would experience if you went to the actual academy, but it's online instead. Now, I have done a few of these, mostly because it's fun, and personally, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like, taking the course online was very convenient because I simply didn't really have the interest to go on campus, which was, in this case, it was in America. And the course material was great, and overall the forums were very helpful, and we progressed and all that stuff, and I completed everything, and got the piece of, well, it was a PDF file, but a piece of paper that stated, hey, you've completed this thing, right? And if we have a look then at the industry and how this affects you when you are going to look for a job, I can tell you that it has had a certain level of relevancy, but the industry is a lot more conservative than they might want to, than what we might want to admit. There is still this, I suppose it all comes down to branding, because I can promise you today that if you want to be applicable for every single job there is within software development, you need 5 years roughly at a university studying computer science. That is the only thing that will make everybody just feel very comfortable in your education. They will feel that, oh, this person, well, they can work for us. And, other things factor in as well, of course. Anything below that is going to be a risk, or something that is not as good. That's just a general thing I've seen. Some companies will actually dismiss you unless you have that sort of education. Now, for me, who had these online degrees, I have official education as well. It's just this is something I just did for fun. It has come up on times where, at certain times where, oh, this is just extra stuff that I did. And I can tell you that for most companies, this is something that is on par with you having prior work experience or prior, personal projects. It is a supplement. It's something that is going to be considered to be nice to see. It's not going to be something that is seen as a hard requirement. And I can definitely say to you that if you want to weigh this, like an online degree versus an actual degree from the actual school and you actually went there, it's going to weigh very differently. Because, as I said, there is a bit of branding going on here. And if you have studied at the finest, fanciest schools and you've gone through, because don't forget this, guys, a lot of the people who are working in IT, they've done so themselves. And of course, if you've done it and they've done it, hey, you're buddies, right? You both went through the same sort of thing, right? And that prejudice against online learning versus on campus and going through the official pipes, it's still very strongly embedded into this field. It is, I'm sorry to say. So that's the way that I would suggest that you view online degrees. It is something that is going to be in the same ball area as being self-taught or taking a few boot camps or something of this nature. it does factor in. It weighs a little bit heavier because you've actually, like, the brand of, depending on the university that you take the course at, like, that brand in of itself is going to weigh a little bit heavier. As I said, the usual thing that happens when you apply for a job, unless nobody's told you that, is that they go through your CV and they are going to mentally just look at the things that you are associated with. So if you have Harvard and Stanford, or Harvard and MIT, or whichever school, like if you're in America, if you have that on the CV, that's going to pop immediately because it's a very well established, very nice brand. Just as a job, like a job provider will see that, oh, you worked for Google or Facebook or Microsoft or some other super big company. That stands out because it's associated, like, they already know the brand. So for online degrees, it's the same sort of thing. If you have degrees, if you have relevant degrees from the nicer schools, that stands out. But what then happens usually is that the first thing they see is that, oh, cool, you have a degree from Harvard or MIT. And then they kind of make a few assumptions on that, and then they say, oh, but it's just an online degree. And your value, like, and that drops the value a little bit. Because in most people's minds, that is not as valuable as actually being on the school or actually have actually gone there for some reason. But that is usually the way that it looks. So what I want you to take away from this is that when it comes to online degrees, I think that you should take them. I mean, I can personally vouch for them. It's great learning and their course materials is pretty good. And you will learn quite a bit, but you should not think about an online degree as being as valuable as having an actual degree when you actually enroll into a school. Have a great day.